Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new video. Today I'm going to be showing you how to find profitable items to high alch. Of course we'll go over some examples of items that are generally good to do, but more importantly I'm going to show you exactly how I find myself profitable items, or more often times break even items, so you can high alch without actually breaking your bank. And yeah, let's get started. Okay guys, so we have 2 mil to start with, and we're going to see what items we can find to alch for profit. Now I kind of divide this up kind of the same way I do flips. Some are high volume alchs and some are low volume alchs. Now the alchemy for items like, say, the rune plate body, black dragon hide, those will generally be more profitable or easier to find a break-even margin at least. But they're kind of punished by only having a limit of like 100, which is actually a pretty big problem when you're alching for magic training, say. Like, you'll go through hundreds every hour, so you have to wait on them for that long. It can be a bit of a hindrance. Whereas the high margin, or not high volume items, say like the magic short bow people do a lot, battle staves, those will be able to buy a bunch and you won't be limited by the limit in the grand exchange. But it's a lot harder to find a profitable margin on them. So we'll try a couple of each, and yeah, let's get started. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up GE Tracker, which is just a RuneScape tracking website for the Grand Exchange. A link will be in the description for that. And we already have an item open here, the Black D-Hide Body. We're just kind of looking at that. And it has a nice little feature here. So it has all the information, but down here actually has the high alch profit. And this isn't taken into account the cost of a nature rune, which apparently is 251. So we'll go ahead and just check that quickly. Of course, you're going to want to check it manually here. So 7925 and 7831. So if we bought them for 7831, we'd be profiting actually 6 GP after the cost of the nature rune. So we'll definitely go ahead and buy some of these. Yeah, 7831. And let's get some magic train in here. We can just still hit the limit, I guess. 125. I think is what the limit is. And next up, we'll try a item with a higher limit and see if we can find one. So all I do pretty much is I just come here and start searching up items. So like, let's go for the battle staff. Now obviously not all items will work for this. Some items just have such big discrepancy between what their high alch value is and their price is. So this will never work. This item will never be profitable. We'll go over a fairly larger list of items that might work in a minute here. But yeah, so that's never going to work. An item that people do a lot is the magic longbow. And the reason people do this is because it will almost always have a loss of about 100, which isn't terrible, and it has a massive limit of 18,000, so people can buy tons of these. People who aren't really interested in saving too much money will go for this. Okay, so we've tried a couple items here. Now we're going to try the Onyx Bolt Enchanted, because this does seem to have a pretty high alch value. Let's, where'd it go? Let's look it up again. Onyx Bolt E. And while it says we're going to lose 48, it has a high alch value of 9,000. Let's have a look at what we're at here. So that looks promising. 8754. $246. So we'll be losing 5 GP, but that is not too bad in the grand scheme of things here. So we put an offer in for 8754. And, well, we're limited a bit by our cash here, but we'll do 120. And, yeah. Oh, no, we will not do 120. 115. Okay, guys, we will come back when the items have bought. Okay, so we instantly bought pretty much the Onyx Bolt E's right away. The Black Dragon Hides were coming in pretty quick for a while, but then kind of dropped off. So we'll go ahead and buy some nature runes with the cash we have left, and we'll alch them, and we'll see what our cash stack is like after. Okay, so we're just finishing up our alchs. We have 3 left, and it looks like we're pretty much going to break even. which is not too bad, considering most of the items we bought were high volume items. Like I could have bought 10,000 of this item, possibly for that price, and still been totally fine. So that is the power of buying items like the Onyx Bolt Tips, or items like the Air Battle Staff, stuff like that. It has a high buy-in limit, and it's going to be much better for alching than, let's say, the Black Dragonhide you saw didn't actually work too well. I could have waited an hour or two and bought the full amount, but what's the point when you just want to start training now? And one thing I want to go over just before I show you some of the best items, or items that are generally good to alch. One last thing. If you want to leave offers in overnight, there's an easy way to just kind of calculate what the minimum price is you should put it in. So let's just open up GTracker again, and let's pop an item in. Let's try the green Dragonhide body. So we're going to come down here, and so it doesn't look like it's profitable right now, but we'll take the high alch value, so 46.80, and take off 252, roughly is the price of a nature rune. So 44.28, that is what we have to buy it for to make our money back. And then all we're going to do is come down here. I can see the historical price, and we'll just pop it down to the most current. And we'll look, is there an item or is there a price where it's below 44.28? Definitely looks like pretty commonly it is, actually. So yeah, green Dragonhides would be a good offer to just leave in overnight, especially since it has a limit of 125. Just pop an offer in for like 500 of those, leave it in, and you're not at risk of ever losing any money. At worst, you can just alch them all. So yeah, there we go. Easy way to ensure that you have profitable items, and again, you can't really lose too much doing this. Okay, so now I'm going to go over a list of items that I do pretty frequently when I'm alching. Now, of course, these won't always work, but it's a good place to get started. So battle staves work quite well. All the elemental battle staves are alching for 9,300. Sometimes you can get them for under 9k, which leads to 50, 60 GP in profit. Trimmed armor is pretty good because people will dump it from clue scrolls and stuff, but it still alchs for the same price as regular runite armor. Dragonhide armor you saw works pretty well. It just happens to be very close to the alch value, and there's tons traded in the game. The only drawback is the limit is generally 100 or roughly around that. Onyx bolts, like I did in the video, very high limit. I actually was able to break even on an item like that. Very good. I don't think any of the other bolts work very well though. Armadil Zamorak, Saradomin, all that armor. Same reason is you can snipe it for pretty low, and it still alchs for the regular rune value. Willow Oak, Magic, longbows and short bows. Any fletching equipment can work pretty well, but this is one of the more popular items. People do it all the time, and for good reason. It has a very high limit, and you can buy them in bulk. And you generally will lose money on these items, but you won't lose as much as just alching a lava rune or something. And lastly, just rune equipment in general. Rune daggers, rune swords. I mean, you can find items that will be very close to the alch value. And you can find some profitable items within the runite category. Same with adamantite. All armor works decently well, but again is restricted by the buy-in limit. And last of all, if you are still struggling to find profitable items to alch, on the GTracker website, if you sign up for an account, you'll have access to this tool for 2 days. It's a high alchemy tool. It's going to show you some profitable items that you can buy to alch. It's pretty useful. Again, you have to take it with a bit of a grain of salt. These aren't going to necessarily buy for this price, but the last recorded price was 15,900, and this high alch is right here. It's pretty good just for getting ideas, even if you don't do these top offers all the time. I mean, I usually scroll down, have a look for, because I'm generally interested in bulk items more. Air battle staves we did right there, but this is kind of where I got the idea from. And you can keep going down the list, and there's a bunch of different ideas for you to find items that could be profitable to alch. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with my more recent videos, and I will see you guys next time.